How did your high school crush turn out as an adult? He had a roller coaster of a life. I admire him more than ever, and more than most people I know, but can't wrap my head around why I ever found him physically attractive. Maybe it was always just his heart. By age 25, he had a PhD, a wife, and was a captain in the Navy. By 30, he had 2 PhDs, a small business where he made a metric ass ton of money, and his wife was pregnant. By 31 he was diagnosed with stage 4 skin cancer that swiftly spread to his lymph nodes, bones, esophagus, and a few other places. He was told he had minimal chance of making it 5 more years. Even with the best health insurance money can buy, it still basically wiped him out. 7 years later, he's living a comfortable, but not extravagant life as a civilian contractor for the Navy. Same wife and 2 happy healthy kids, and spends most of his free time advocating for better public health care. Peepine legend. She committed suicide. Found out later she had a crush on me too. Peep life sometimes. That's just painful. Began acting. It's weird. Every so often I'll see a commercial or something and be like, oh, hey, I know them. My crush is an incredibly sweet person, so I'm glad. Oh, none of mine ever did anything interesting. Do you mind if I crush vicariously through you? Lol. I remember walking up to her and asking if we could talk in private, and she said you can say what you need in front of everyone. Her group of friends were all around. So I asked if she wanted to go on a date. She burst out laughing and said yeah, no. Speep was rough, man. Looked her up last year and she's a cage fighter now. What? I guess she's always been a pro at hurting people for others' entertainment. I had 2 unrealized crushes in high school. One is a teacher and musician. She is married and has either 1 or 2 kids. We've kept in loose contact via social media and ran into each other at an I party shortly before she got married. I was introduced to her now husband as favorite ex ever. He seemed like a decent dude and I'm happy for her. I believe the other became a US attorney. I have not heard from her since Google almost became a social media thing. I imagine she's still very productive and would be disappointed in my life choices. He's an attractive gay man. I'm none of those things. Same with my crush. He was my first serious crush and my first slow dance at a middle school dance. Now he's gay, attractive, was in the military, and now owns a photography studio. He does some great headshots. He was this nice cool guy who would consistently post memes and stuff on social media. Then 2 or 3 years later, he deleted all of his social media. I don't have his phone number or know any friends that know him, so I don't know how he's doing, but I hope he's doing well. My only GF in high school was my crush. Her mom banned her from dating me after about a year because my GF admitted to her mom that we were fooling around. This was about 20 years ago. She's still living with her mom. No kids. And as far as I know never again dated seriously after her mom broke us up. Still has the same job from high school too. It's like her mom went way into protective overdrive and my former GF never grew up. Peep. : Yeah, it sucks. Even 20 years later, married with wife and kids, I still think about her on occasion. Weird how a first love keeps popping into your head. I met her in 1987. We got married 5 years ago. We used to go to the same punk shows. That's where met. You fell in love with the girl at the rock show. Mine was my best friend. She turned out to be a pedophile. She always liked younger. When she was 17 she had a 13-year-old boyfriend, which was we were kids, and I didn't think about it much. Turns out she continued to like younger teens as she grew into her 20s and 30s. Whoa. The day I realized I was no longer young was the day I realized every last girl I had a crush on in high school had either become a mom, a lesbian, or both. Found her on Tinder. She said I was hot. Pointed out that I was that loser she used to know in high school. Had a big laugh. Been a little over a year. Now we send each other memes and hang out occasionally when the pandemic isn't being a bitch. So you're saying there's a chance? Only if you roll a 20. She's still hot, successful and wealthy entrepreneur, and married someone with the same first name as me, and who quit his job to brew beer. I crushed on her for a bit. Didn't think she was interested, so I dated others. Then come to find out she crushed on me senior year. I was too dumb and blind. We connected freshman year of college. She wrote me letters, and by the time I wised up she had moved on. No one to blame but myself. What if you built a time machine and went back in time, then changed your last name? Dead by 32. Drugs. I'm only 8 years out of HS, and with a class of 90, over 10 are dead because of alcohol and drugs. There must be something in the water. Undefined. Class size of 90 with only one school in an area as large as you live way out in the middle of nowhere. My graduating class had nearly 2,000 people. Listening to all those names sucked. They both ended up as great guys. One has a huge family and is a minister. The other only has one child and is a college professor. Both married nice people and are happy. They were really good guys in high school and ended up being really good adults. I've got both of them on Facebook and we keep in touch peripherally as we stayed friends over the years. Making me wonder what I ever saw in them. I concur. I was a freshman and had a crush on a senior. To add to it, she was a cheerleader and her brother played QB for the football team and got a college scholarship. She showed up at a football game a couple of years later with a baby in tow. She's married now and back in her hometown. That's about all I know. About to be my fianc, if all goes well. You go. An insanely talented molecular biology researcher at Boston. And she's still insanely attractive and defined. Considering Boston is a hub for life sciences, and that most researchers in the field start out with MolBio. Say, molecular biology researcher at Boston is essentially the same as programmer in Bay Area. I was about to say the same. Like I grew up in MA and I know dozens of molecular biologists in Boston lol. The number of startup pharma companies out there is insane. Haha, my husband. Our first marriages didn't work out, and we reconnected after our divorces. If only I would have confessed I had a crush on him in high school. Might have saved myself a lot of trouble. Lol undefined. Back when I was younger and crushing hard, I got on AOL Instant Messenger and had gotten my crush's screen name from a friend. I worked up the nerve to start a conversation with him, and soon after some awkward small talk he sent me a message in Comic Sans, black background, red lettering, and in French. I then went to Google for translation and found out he had just called me a pig in French. Being a seemingly awkward and chubby teenager, I was literally crushed. The heartbreak was only made worse by remembering that a few weeks prior I had selected to take French class the next year and couldn't change it. Years later, now that I've blossomed, he follows me on every social media platform, has reached out a couple of times to try and flirt/hang out. Hard pass. I believe he's moved away and is a teacher now. The now you want me because I'm hot attempt. I had a lady try that post-college. Maybe had she not been so mean about turning me down when I asked her out before, I would have considered it. His friend murdered him over a girl. I had a childhood friend, he and I both the same name, so we called each other by first name last name initial, who got killed in a similar situation. He was only 24. It was peeping senseless and the kid who killed him is going away for a long time. Was it worth it, buddy? Dude I knew got into a drunken argument with his brother at a family BBQ over a borrowed 20. Obviously there's more going on underneath, but the money was the catalyst. Fight proceeded to the kitchen and the brother was stabbed to death. Guy went to prison for manslaughter where one of his guards was another good friend of mine. Country gang gang. Everyone knows everyone. My English teacher still looks fine as peep. Mine was ancient back in 1985. If she's still around now, she must be a vampire. God bless you, Mrs. Cunningham. You put up with me, tried your best, and I still turned out speep. Mine was only about 4 years older than me and dropped out halfway during university.